how many of you all have ever heard of Hardin County Water District number 2? You have? Awesome. Okay, so if you have not heard about us, we provide your water at your faucet. So anytime you turn on your tap to wash your hands, to drink out of the water fountain, when you flush your toilet, that water is cleaned by our team. So we are not bottled water, we are not Gatorade, we are not Pepsi. We are way cooler because we live here in your community and we service your community all day, every day. So that's what we do. It's kind of to give you an update. And we actually service around 80,000 people every day. So this is a map of Hardin County. And we service the south part of Hardin County. So Sonora, Upton, Glendale, those areas, and then Elizabethtown. So that's what we service. So you may recognize us. We have 14 water tanks all in our area. So by Becca's Flip House, near Ronnieville, by Coles and Cheddar's. This is their neighbor, our lovely Pear Orchard water tank, and then Sonora. So these are some of our popular water tanks. If you've seen these, you just know there's clean water up in these bowls, and we probably pass 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 every day, but now you're gonna know what they actually do. Did anyone flush their toilet this morning, brush their teeth, take a shower, wash their hands? Anyone unload the dishwasher this morning?
I did.
Awesome, we got some workers in here. All right, so we've all used water this morning somehow. Even if you don't think about it, whenever you flush your toilet, the water that we clean is actually what comes in the bowl and goes back down the drain. So we all use water every single day and we don't even think about it. So I do want to share with you, we have a local celebrity. Yes, she was in our class last week. So on average, kids use about 1,000 gallons of water every month. Imagine if we took 1,000 gallons and put them here in Mr. Johnson's floor. Would that be a lot of water?
Yes.
That is on average how many gallons of water kids use every day. Adults use 2,000 gallons, so double that.
Yeah.
So you may think, how in the world am I using that much water a day? Like you said, you don't drink water. But if you ninja chop the side of your house, you can look and see that water comes in from our water main into your home. If your refrigerator spits out ice cubes, there is a water line plumbed into the back of your refrigerator. Like you mentioned, you unloaded the dishwasher this morning. Each of these appliances have water plumbed into the back of them. So whenever you turn on your bathtub or your shower, there's a water line that's going through your house that goes to your shower head.
Even your toilet?
Even your toilet. So these are ways that our house uses water. What about our food? Does our food need water?
Yes.
So what about our pizza? Does our pizza need water?
No. Yes.
So our pizza needs water. On average, it takes 700 gallons of water to make a cheeseburger. If you think about it from start to finish, all of the water that's required. So even think about what you had for breakfast this morning and think about the water that went into making that. All right, so we've talked about how our house needs water. We've talked about how our food needs water. Now let's talk about how our body needs water. So did you all know that 60 to 75% of our body needs water? And water is not floating around in our body like this person, but our brain needs water. Every time we blink, our eyes need water to stay lubricated. Our joints need water whenever we move. Our muscles need water. Our liver needs water. All those things need water. Did you know whenever you are sick, your body uses water? Have you ever had a fever before? And then you feel kind of clammy? And your parents may say your fever broke? So whenever you have a fever and your body realizes this is not the temperature we need to be, it takes extra water and it uses the extra water that you have drank, and it brings your body temperature back down. That's what happens when your fever breaks. Your body is so smart that it knows I don't need to be that hot. I'm going to bring it down a little bit, bring my temperature down. Even when we're asleep, our body is working to restore and repair. So all the water that we drank the day before, earlier that day, our body will use that and throw it in all the places that we need it. I'm going to put some to the knees, to the eyes, to the skin, to all these areas. So does anyone ever wake up thirsty?
I do.
Yeah, so your body's been using water all night long.
Well, I can.
What about when we're dancing? That's right. So exactly the same as whenever you have a fever. Whenever you have a fever, your body brings your body temperature back down. That sweating is the same thing. So even in Mr. Johnson's class, when y'all are running around, sometimes you get kind of sweaty. Those are different ways our body uses water. So how many glasses of water do you think we need a day? We were talking about gallons, but now we're talking about glasses, which is a little bit smaller. You think maybe 4? So the magic number that we like to shoot for is 8. But as you all can see, this chart, it shows you I need more than 8 cups a day. I'm over here in this column, but my son is over here in this column. So you all probably fall somewhere in here. So we like to say 8 cups a day because that's a good round number, a good goal to shoot for every day. Now if you know you're playing in a football game tonight or you have gym today, you may drink a little bit more and kind of pre-hydrate for that. But we like to say about 8 cups a day. So we are responsible for our own water intake. You know, our parents can tell us to drink water, Mr. Johnson can tell us to drink water, but at the end of the day, now we know how our bodies use water and how important it is that we feel as good as we do. So I want to share some tips with you all on how to make sure that you stay hydrated. Carry your own water bottle with you. I have my bottle. I know Mr. Johnson carries this bottle around and drinks it. Another thing you can do is drink water with your breakfast. If you like juice or milk, make sure you have a cup of water before. Like we mentioned, you're thirsty when you wake up, so treat your body when you wake up and have a cup of water, and then you have 7 cups that you have to drink through the rest of the day.
What does it eat?
Eat more water. What does that mean?
I drink. How do we eat?
Okay, we'll talk about it a little bit. What do you think?
Does flavored water count as water?
So we can talk about different ways to flavor it. It's better than just drinking sodas, but you can always put strawberries in your water, something that's flavored with something other than a sugary additive. So eat more water actually means strawberries, watermelon, cucumbers, zucchini, all those different hydrating foods, and we'll talk about that in a moment. So the other thing is use a creative straw or a fun, colorful straw. That may be something you want to do at home. You may not bring that to school with you. You can also track your water intake. So we talked about eat more water, and you all thought I was being silly, but look at all these foods. These are the top 10 hydrating foods. So the next thing we're actually going to talk about is what happens whenever your body doesn't have water. So whenever your body doesn't have water, what do you think happens? We've talked about how your body uses water.
You get sick and you get dehydrated.
You get dehydrated, right? Yes, you become dehydrated. So have you all ever seen the episode of SpongeBob where he visits Sandy in her dome? Yes, he's a sea sponge. He goes into Sandy's dome, which is all air, and he's thirsty, right? Remember, he has his pinky out. He's trying to play it cool, but he is dehydrated because his body needs water. So he ends up jumping in the water pitcher. If you don't know SpongeBob, I know that you know a little bit about plants, so it's the same thing. What happens to plants whenever they don't have water? Yes.
They die.
They start to feel kind of similar to how SpongeBob was, right? They're kind of sluggish and they don't feel very good. So the same thing, our bodies are like plants, and our bodies are kind of like SpongeBob in that way. So we become dehydrated. And the very first sign of dehydration is that we are thirsty. That's the very first sign of dehydration. So whenever your body's thirsty, picture SpongeBob with his pinky out. That's the first sign that your body is wanting some water. If you don't listen to that sign, you can become tired, you can have an upset stomach, you can be dizzy, you can be confused, and all of our bodies are different. So if I'm dehydrated, my signs and symptoms may be different than what yours could be. So I want you to think next time you're not feeling very well, maybe think, when is the last time I had water? Maybe this is a sign that my body is needing some water, right? So I want you to know that if you feel that way, you're not alone, because 1 in every 2 people are dehydrated. And this breaks my heart because that's 1 in every 2 people that are not playing their best game of basketball. They're not sleeping as well as they could be. They're not paying attention in school. that well because their body is needing water. So it's just something very simple that we can do to help ourselves. All right, so now I'm going to talk about something. I know Mr. Johnson's talked to you all about it, but it's kind of embarrassing, but it's a way that you can test your hydration every day. And that's by going to the restroom. If your urine is really yellow, then you need to drink more water. Your urine, whenever it's yellow, that's a lot of toxins that are trying to leave your body. The more water that you drink, the more diluted, I know you mentioned the word diluted, the more diluted your urine becomes, and it becomes more clear. And you don't have to share that with anyone, but it's something that you can do every day and know how your body is feeling based on that test. And I think Mr. Johnson has a chart that he can show you if you ever have questions too. So now we are going to talk about my favorite part. This is our water professionals. So this is our team that actually provides the clean water to the 80,000 people every day. Have you all ever seen this building? Yes. Yes? So fun fact, your school is right here. You see this top part of this building behind it? That's the top of your school. So we are neighbors, guys. So we are just right over, right beside the sports park. Yep. So we are right by your school. So if you look out when you're headed to the bus today, you can probably see our fence and maybe some of our dump trucks, but we're beside Nolan, Dan Powers, and the sports park. Yep. And this is our team of 80 professionals. 80 people work together every day to provide 80,000 people clean water. So I have a quick question for you all. Where do you think your water comes from? From the very beginning, not just from your tap, but before it gets to your tap.
Oceans, rivers, lakes, just like streams, like anything like that. You can like get water and then you can clean it and then it goes into
Yep.
your house.
That's perfect. So did you all hear what she said?
No, I know.
Okay, so she said oceans, rivers, streams, and all of that is right. Because I want to share with you all, we are actually drinking the same water that dinosaurs used to drink. Did you all know that?
Yes.
So we are not getting any more water. All of it is just continuously being recycled, cleaned, and then we put it back down the drain and it goes back into our rivers after it's cleaned and we pull it out again.
1,000 years.
Yeah, so you're exactly right. And we pull 70% of our water from the Nolan River. Have you all ever been to the Nolan River?
Yes.
A lot of people fish out there, they kayak. It's really close to the White Mills Christian Church if you've ever been to that camp. So we're gonna watch a quick video that goes through the treatment process. So we have two treatment plants, two water treatment plants. So one is in White Mills, Kentucky, and the other one is in Elizabethtown. So this is a picture of our Elizabethtown plant, and then the video that you're about to see is at our White Mills treatment plant, okay? So we're gonna watch it real quick and then we'll come back. Have you ever wondered where your water comes from? You just turn on your faucet and it's magically there, right? Not exactly. Your water has been on a pretty long journey before it ever reaches your home. Let's take a look. Hardin County Water District Number 2 makes great tasting water for our customers in Hardin, LaRue, and Hart County. The process starts right here at the river. The river is used for all kinds of fun things like fishing, drinking, and swimming. The treatment process begins at our source, the Nolan River. The White Mills facility extracts up to 8.1 million gallons of water per day from the river. This sounds like a lot, but actually withdrawing this amount has very little impact on the river and the fish and wildlife that depend on the water every day. Water is pumped from the river into our head tank. Here, the carbon and potassium permanganate are added. Carbon is added to remove compounds that would otherwise cause the water to taste or smell bad. Water flows from the head tank into our three giant funnel-shaped tanks called flare cones. You can see three of them right here. This is where the water treatment process begins. The Clare cones are engineered to take dirt out of the water by using polymer-based coagulants and gravity. Untreated river water can be quite cloudy. Our treatment process is capable of reducing water turbidity over 99.99%. Also at this step, chlorine is added to begin the disinfection process. Next, the water passes through giant water filters. There are 6 water filters at this facility working around the clock to remove debris and other contaminants from the water. Each filter has an 18-inch layer of sand and 22 inches of anthracite, which is designed to capture very tiny particles as the water passes through. Our advanced computer system closely monitors water composition and quality at every step of the treatment process. This ensures that we meet and exceed all water quality standards set by the EPA. In fact, here at Hardin County Water District No. 2, we hold ourselves to the highest expectations to strive and exceed all regulatory standards. In addition, our operators and laboratory technicians routinely perform water quality tests and assess a variety of water characteristics to guarantee that we are delivering only safe, great-tasting water. Clear filtered water has now been separated from water containing dirt and other contaminants. The clean water flows into the next stage of the treatment process using one pipe system, while the dirty water flows out of the treatment plant using a different pipe system. Water then moves into large holding tanks called clear wells. Here, the final steps of the disinfection process take place before water is pumped throughout our service area. Our heavy-duty high-service pumps send millions of gallons of water every day from the clear wells at our treatment plants into our underground network of pipes. Over 1,000 miles of different size pipes make up our distribution system, which extends all throughout Hardin County, connecting our treatment plants to our tanks and ultimately to your home. Freshly treated water is pumped to its next stop, one of our many water towers, to be stored until it's delivered to our customers. Over 80,000 customers trust us to meet their water needs. Then, your water is delivered to you, right here at the tap. This process, together with our hard-working staff, has resulted in the Hardin County Water District No. 2 winning the Best Tasting Water Contest many times in recent years. So the next time you reach for a glass of water or turn on your shower, remember the journey your water takes, all the way from the beginning. So you all could see from start to finish how the process works. It's about a 3-hour process. And at both of our treatment plants, here's a picture of both of them, we have really talented water treatment plant operators who work there. So that means there is someone always at our water treatment plants. On Christmas morning, Thanksgiving night, all day, every day, someone is at our treatment plant testing the water. And they also fill our water tanks that are all around our service area. So does anyone here like science? Got some science lovers? Awesome. So our water treatment operators also love science. They usually have a chemistry or a biology degree or background. So you can either have a college degree or you can do on-the-job training for 5 years to be able to run our treatment plant. So people rely on our operators every day, but it's not something you generally think about. So there's a few more pictures of both of our treatment plants. So once they clean the water and they test it, they send it out to our water tanks. So like I said, we have 14 water tanks. These huge bowls at the top holds water. So some of our tanks are 250,000 gallons. Some of them are 1 million gallons. So we have these tanks spread out all over our service area. So the way that they actually fill those tanks is we have something called SCADA. So you could see in that video, there was a quick picture that showed each of our tanks. So literally our water treatment operators and definitely our managers on their phone, they can pull up and see how much water is in a tank. So if you like technology, there's definitely a lot of technology that goes into what we do. So each of these tanks, they can see all over our area, and also our high service pumps. So they can actually control that and see it if a tank is getting low, and it's never really low, but it gets to a certain point about halfway, and then they fill it back up with clean water. Does that make sense? So every time you use your faucet, water is flowing, and then we have to fill it back up with clean water that's going through our treatment plant. The next thing we have is our pump stations. So we have pump stations spread out throughout our service area, and pump stations actually push water further out in the country, or up on top of a hill if there's a neighborhood. So basically it pushes water wherever it needs to go. So it's really important that our pump stations work properly, because that's a huge part of our infrastructure, which is what makes our water go where it needs to go. That's something that is essential to serving our 80,000 customers. And we have a video of our maintenance team. I don't have time to show it right now, but you can check it out on our YouTube channel. So we have YouTube where you can go through and see a lot of videos and things like that. The next thing is our water pipes. This is one of my favorite parts. So underneath the ground, we have about 1,000 miles of water line. So that's from here to Miami, Florida, 1,000 miles, all underground. And we don't have pipe in Miami, Florida. This is all in our area, that 80,000, that map that showed 80,000 people. We have about 20 to 25 people that take care of those pipes. So if there's a break in the middle of the night, we have people on call to come out and fix that. So you can see these water lines, sometimes they're in the middle of a road. Because the water lines were here before our roads were here. So you'll see this concrete saw. Our crews had to cut a hole in the road in the middle of downtown E-Town to repair a water line that runs under the road. So a lot of times if you see a men or women working sign, these are the people behind the signs. And they are really essential to making sure water gets where it needs to be. So I brought this piece. This is a coupling. So I want you all to picture if you were putting our pipes together, if you were some of these hard-working crews and you took 2 straws. Has anyone ever taken 2 straws and put them in together to make one long straw? You have? So if you take 2 straws and you put it together and you put a piece of tape right where they meet to keep them together, that's what this does. This is a coupling. So there are gaskets inside this coupling, and whenever the pipe slides into it, it holds it into place. So our pipes, our sections, or our straws are in 20-foot sections. So they're really, really long. So that's what connects together, and it connects our tanks and goes underground all over our area to our homes and to all the areas that we service. So anytime that you see a blue and silver fire hydrant, just know there's a water tank, or I'm sorry, a water pipe that runs underground that connects into that fire hydrant. So those are our water pipes. Like I said, we have people on call 24/7. These are our equipment operators. If anyone here likes to run equipment, a skid steer, backhoe, track hose, some of our hardest workers are in this department. Does anyone here like to get muddy?
Yeah.
Like to use a shovel?
No.
No? You do, okay. So this would be an awesome department for you. And we have another video on how to repair a main break, but you'll have to check that out on our Facebook or our YouTube page, either one. The next thing is our water meter. So this is a water meter, and every home and business or address has a water meter. And I think that you asked in the very beginning, what is a water meter box? So did you see in that picture, the water meter box was before your home? Remember that? So before water enters your house, it goes through this meter, and this meter is assigned to your home. You will see a rectangular box outside of your house, out in your yard, and that's the home of this water meter. So water lines plug into the side of this meter, and every time you turn your faucet on, this is counting the gallons. Remember the big fat milk jugs? This is the gallons of water that goes through this meter. So every time you have your faucet on, this is counting 1 gallon, 2 gallon, 3 gallons. And this is how we determine the water bill that your family gets every month. So we actually have 30,000 of these in the ground. And that's how many people we take care of, how many houses. This little doodad sticks out of the top of your water meter box, and we drive by once a month and we pick up your reading. So again, that's another way that we use technology. If you like technology, we rely on these to give us the reading from your home each month. So that's your water meter. So once water goes through that meter, it goes here to your school. It goes to Crown Point Theater, to Bluegrass Sportsplex, to Sky's the Limit. All those areas have the same water that's here at your school and probably at most of your homes. So that just gives you an idea. Whenever you're at Chick-fil-A and you wash your hands, that's the same water that's here at your school. Does that make sense? Because of all the underground pipes that are running around. So once it gets to your home, of course, we have a team that generates the bill for you. There's a monthly bill, and the average bill is anywhere from $25 to $30, $35 each month. So that's on average, but like we said, the kids use an average of 1,000 gallons, adults use 2,000, so each home is a little different. But we have a lot of people who work hard to put your bill together, and then people to take payments whenever you come into our office to make a payment. So honestly, we're a pretty big deal in our industry. And that's a pickle, because pretty big deal pickle. But honestly, our water district is known all over Kentucky and Tennessee, but also all over our nation. We are known for having some of the best tasting water. And we have won best tasting water several times. We have several workers who have been highlighted, and just our facilities. So we're really lucky to live in a great spot where we have reliable water every day, because there are places in Kentucky that do not have reliable water at their faucet or even at their school every day. So we're really super lucky. And now I'll go through and I'll take some questions.
What would happen if a water pipe freezes?
If a water pipe freezes?
Yeah.
So our large lines, typically there's water running through them all the time. Now there are times whenever it's cold, like this past winter, and you turn off water and you go to sleep for the night, that the water line to your home, the service line, will freeze because there's no movement. And we know when water freezes, when it gets below a certain temperature, it expands. So if that happens, a lot of times the pipe has to be replaced, or we have to cut a line. But if it's past the meter, then it will be your parents' responsibility or the plumber's responsibility. How do you fill water tanks? So if you could see a water tank, okay, I'm gonna use your noodle. Pretend that this is a water tank, and on top there's a big bowl. So you could see there was a center pipe, or even the ones that are enclosed, there's a center pipe. And inside of this pipe, picture two more, or inside of this pipe, there are two pipes. So this water pushes water up, and this pipe pushes water down. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So there's two pipes side by side, and one pushes water up, and this one pushes water down. So water fills through the up.
Do you guys go inside the water towers to like where the big water's at? Do you go inside there to make sure nothing's going on with the calculation?
That's a good question. So she asked, whenever we're filling water tanks, do we actually go inside of it? And that can be a yes and no. So in a perfect world, we can just fill that from our SCADA system. Our operators can see that it needs water, and they do it all day, every day. They send water to a tank and fill it. But if there's a problem, if our maintenance team or if our operators realize there's a problem, they can go to that tank. And in one of the videos we didn't get to see, our maintenance technicians actually climb on top of tanks. They harness up and they have to climb on top of those huge tanks to check and make sure everything's working well. And there's even pump stations in the bottom of some of our tanks. So there are times they do have to travel, but in a perfect world they shouldn't have to.